students. I am Dr. Shikha Pandey, Associate Professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So today I will discuss you about the types of landfill. In the previous class, I have discussed you about the landfill and how this landfill has been proposed in every city. So let's come out with the basic definition of the landfill, like what is this landfill and why this landfill has been made. So landfills are the physical facilities that is used for the disposal of residual solid waste in the surface of the earth. Landfills are the physical facilities will be there that is used for the disposal of residual solid waste in the surface of the earth. It is the process by which the residual solid waste is placed in the landfill. Residual solid waste means the waste that will be there, which will be leftover waste by some recycling process or by some city waste or like some construction and demolition waste. So this type of waste will be placed onto the landfills, and this landfill include the monitoring monitoring of the incoming waste stream, monitoring of all incoming waste stream, placements and compaction of waste. Placement and compaction of waste, installation of landfill environmental monitoring and control facility. So this landfill will include and it will monitor the incoming waste stream, means how much waste will be coming, and the placements and compaction of waste, where the waste will be placed on the landfill site, because a small cell will be there. So cell will be there. So the cell should be like it is cell should be there. So waste will be placed into the cell, and when the waste will be placed into the cell, so then what happened, the compaction is very much required. Compaction and then placements of the waste and its compaction, and then the installation of landfill environmental monitoring and control facilities. Then the installation of landfills, like its control monitoring will be there. Then after control monitoring will be there for this waste. So control monitoring will be like they will do monitoring of the gases like methane gases that is formed from the landfill, how much amount of gas will be formed from the landfill and how to collect the gases. Then after, there are two types of landfill like sanitary landfill and then secured landfill. Sanitary landfill is like a landfill that will be disposed of the MSW only. Then secured landfill is used for the hazardous waste. Then next is the municipal solid waste landfill. Landfill that accept household waste as well as other waste. Next is the managed landfill. Landfills composed mainly of clean fills, but also some construction and demolition waste with some very little contaminants. And next is the construction and demolition landfills. First is the managed landfill. Managed landfill will having all the landfills, but our construction and demolition waste will be there, that will be having very light contaminants. Then after the construction demolition landfill, where we will put the construction and demolition materials, some material that will be left over by the construction and demolition material, left over by construction activities. So three types are there. First is the MSW. So generally whatever the disposal left out material will be there from the MSW will be put into this normal MSW landfill. Then managed landfill. Managed landfill is only for construction and demolition waste. This will be composed mainly of clean fills, but also construction and demolition waste with a very little contaminants. Then construction and demolition landfills. So material left over by construction and demolition landfill. So what are the materials? Like some material like wood products, asphalt, plasterboard, insulation, other are disposed to the land. So the material that will be involved in the construction and demolition activity, like some paperboard, plasterboard, insulation, that will be disposed into this type of landfill. See, this is the picture of a cross-sectional view of the sanitary landfill. like one final cover will be there. One final cover will be there for this landfill. Then bench and terrace will be required. Then final cover will be there on the slope face. Then the typical slope like 3:1 it is there. Then 6 inch in the intermediate cover. Compacted solid waste will be there. And on that every cell one daily cover will be there. And see, this is the cell will be there for, and that cell we will put the solid waste. This is the final cell. And then lift will be there. See, this is the height, and the 6 inch intermediate cover will provide on the every cell of the sanitary landfill. Now we will define these terms like cell. Cell is the volume of materials placed in the landfill during one operating period, usually one day. It includes the waste deposited and the daily cover material surrounding it. So on the every landfill, this type of square will be there. So that is called as cell. So in the cell, what happen? It is a volume of the material placed in a landfill. The volume of all the waste material that is placed on the landfill during one operating period, like in a one day. In a one day, the total volume of material that is placed on the landfill, and it includes the waste deposited and the daily cover material surrounding it. So waste deposited and daily cover material. So it is like during a one day or one operating period, usually like one day, it includes the waste deposited and the daily cover material that is surrounding on it. So next is what is the daily cover? Daily cover consists of 6 to 12 inch of native or some alternative materials like compost that are applied to the working face of the landfill. So, and at the end of each operating period, it controls the blowing of waste material, entry of water, and prevent disease vector from entering the landfill. So on the cell, daily one cover will be provided like 6 to 12 inch of some alternative material like some compost will be there or some soil will be there. So on the cell, after the haul container system, after the hauling of the waste, one daily cover will be provided as an alternative material like some compost will be there, and this will be applied to the working face of the landfill at the end of each operating period. It controls the blowing of wastewater. It is going to control the blowing of waste. Obviously, it will be not allow the waste to blow from this cells. And then complete layer of cell over the active area of the landfill. Next point is the lift. Lift means the complete layer of cell. Complete layer means like the cell with daily cover. Cell with the daily cover. Complete layer of cells over the active area of the landfill. Daily cover, like it consists of 6 to 12 inch of the native or alternative materials like compost, and that will be applied on the working face of the landfill at the end of each operating period. It controls the blowing of waste material and entry of water and prevents diseases vectors that will be entered to the landfill. See, if a small cell will be there on every sanitary landfill, and that every day some waste will be put inside the cell, and that will be covered with some material like sometimes soils or sometimes some compost will be there. So that cell will be covered with the compost material or soil, so that by covering of this cell, it will prevent the blowing of waste material and entry of the some water, and it is going to prevent the disease that will be like controls from entering the landfill. Next is the branch or trace will be there. So it will be used where height of landfill exceed 50 to 75 feet. So up to 50 to 75 feet height will be there, then bench or terrace will be provided. It maintains slope stability of the landfill, placement of surface water drainage channel, and for landfill gas recovering pipe. So onto the cell, we will provide soil cover will be there, and then on this some slope will be there. slope. So this slope is like it is used where the height of landfill exceed 50 to 75 feet and it maintains slope stability of the landfill, placements of surface water drainage channel and for landfill gas recovery pipe. On the slope, it will be useful for the placement of surface water drainage, for the placement of surface water drainage, then after recovery of methane. Next is the final lift. Final lift include the cover layer, means it includes all the cover layer. Then after final cover layer apply to the entire landfill surface area. Entire landfill filling operation are completed. So final cover layer will be applied on the entire landfill surface after the whole process. After the entire process, entire haul container system process will be completed. Haul container operation. On to that, it is called as final cover. Final cover layer will be there. Next is the leachate. Leachate is again a point that has been related with the landfill. So leachate means the liquid that will be collected at the bottom of the landfill. So at the bottom of the landfill, liquid will be collected. It is called as leachate. So liquid collected at the bottom of landfill. Then landfill gases. Landfill gases is like the mixture of methane and carbon dioxide. Two gas will be there in the landfill that is called as a mixture of gases and it will be formed as a result of degradation of biodegradable organic matter, organics present in the waste. So obviously organic waste will be there in that. Organic waste. That waste degradation will be there. CO2 will be there. Next material will be there that is called as landfill liners. So material used to line the bottom area and below grade sides of a landfill. So some liners will be there. They are called as some materials that used to line the bottom area and below grade side of a landfill. They usually consist of layer of compacted clay or geomembrane material designed to prevent migration of leachate and landfill gases. So these landfill liners are the materials that is used to line the bottom area. That landfill liners will be put, that materials will be put with the bottom area and some below grade side of a landfills. And that will mainly consist of a layer of compacted clay, that is basically consist of a layer of compacted clay or geomembrane materials designed to prevent migration of leachate and landfill gas. So they will be designed, so this material will be designed to prevent the movement of the gas so that the leachate, the collected water will not enter to the groundwater and the migration of leachate, it will stop the migration of leachate and some landfill gases. The principal method used for landfilling method of the MSWR. Next we'll discuss about the landfilling methods. Some depending upon the waste or depending upon the area, landfills will be of different types. So first is like the method used for the landfilling of MSWR, excavated cells, area, canopy or depression. So trench method. First method we are going to discuss about the trench method. It is used in the place where groundwater table is not near the surface. Means groundwater is very far. Next is a trench are dug and lined with some synthetic membranes, liners or low permeable clay or the combination of both, so that the leachate will not enter the groundwater. Leachate will not enter the groundwater. So this is called as excavated method, cell will be there, or trench method. So this method will be adopted for the place where the groundwater is not near the surface water and within the trench has been dug. Then after the lining will be given with some synthetic membrane liners or low permeable clay or the combination of both type of materials. The solid waste are placed in the trench and the soil excavated from the site is used for daily and final cover. The solid waste will be placed on the trench and the soil excavated from the site is used for daily and final cover. So these trenches are like 200 to 1000 feet long and 3 to 10 feet deep and 15 to 50 feet of wide. You can see this is the picture of the trench method. How the trench will be dug and some liner will be provided so that leachate will not enter the groundwater. And this is the dimension of the trench method. Like it should be 20 to 100 feet long and it should be deep and wide. LWH, all dimension will be provided. So this is the final cover. You can see the picture, and this is the earth embankment will be there, and it will be dug into the groundwater because groundwater will be very far from this place. Next method is the area method. It is used when the terrain is unsuitable for excavation. Means like when the terrain will be not suitable for the excavation, such as when the groundwater table is very high. Means the groundwater is very high, means it will be just below the surface, below the soil, groundwater. So it will be not possible. So cover material are the material that will be hauled from different location. Cover material are hauled from different location, and site preparation include installation of liners and leachate control system. So site preparation will be there. That will include the installation of some liners and leachate control system. So you can see this is the picture. This is the earth embankment, then solid waste cells, and then final cover, that is the slope will be there. So this is the area method of landfill. Next method is the canoeing or depression methods. So canoeing is riverine or dry borrow pits and quarries that can be used as a landfill sites. And compacted solid waste are placed in some canoeing or some depression or some riverine kind of things. You can see this is the top of the landfill. This is a drainage ditch. So this type of depression has been made. The cover material are either be excavated from the canoeing walls or hauled with a different location. So this is the original ground surface. This type of structure has been formed in the canoeing methods, and the riverine and dry borrow pit will be there, and some quarries will be there, and that can be used as a landfill sites. Compacted solid waste are placed in the canoeings and depressions. Cover material can neither be excavated from the canoeing walls or hauled in from a different location. So next is we'll discuss about the landfilling site consideration. So before proposing any site for the landfill site, so what are the different criteria we should focus, so that this will be a very important criteria we should keep in mind while making a site for the landfilling. First is the haul distance. Haul distance of the haul operation, it should be very much close to the generation point. And the location restriction is like that. It should be 20 km away from the airport, 200 meter away from the highways, 500 meter from the any habitation, 300 meter from the public park, 500 meter from the water supply well, 200 meter from the ponds, and 100 meters from the river. And the available land area is like 20 to 25 years of available land area will be there. Site access should have proper access. Means any vehicle can go to that particular site. So site access will be there. And soil condition and topography. The soil, if used as a cover material, should have very low porosity. And the topography decides the extent of work required to make the site usable. So first point is the haul distance. The haul distance should be nearby to the waste generation site. So in this way the landfill should be planned. So the generation haul unit operation can be like nearby to the closer point of generation. And location restriction will be there because of it will be not contaminate the places. Like it should be 20 km away from the any airport. Next is the 200 meter away from the highways, 500 meter away from the habitation, 300 meter away from the public park, 500 meter from the water supply wells, 200 meter from the pond, and 100 meter from the rivers. Available land should be provided up to 20 to 25 years, and the place should be having proper access from the city. The soil which we are going to use the cover material should have very low porosity, and the topography will decide the extent of work required to make the site usable. Next is some different condition will be there, that is climatological condition that we should keep on focus, like what are the climatic condition of that particular place. Surface water hydrology to establish the existing natural drainage or runoff. Geological and hydrogeological condition to ensure that the leachate or the landfill gas will not impair quality of local area. Groundwater or subsurface or bed aquifers. Local environmental condition, potential ultimate use for the complete site. So these are the important factors that should be keep in mind before making any place for the landfill. So the climatological condition of that particular area, what are the rainfall data, what is the average groundwater data, and the surface water hydrology, and to establish the existing natural drainage or runoff system, then the surface water hydrology information should be required. Geological and hydrogeological condition, like to ensure that the leachate or landfill gas will not impair the quality of local water. See, hydrogeological conditions should be important because the leachate formation will not enter to the local water bodies of the particular area. Groundwater, subsurface or bedrock aquifers, local environment condition, potential ultimate use for the complete site. So these are the important factors that should be keep in mind while selecting a site for the landfill. Next is the site selection. For site selection, we'll discuss about these points in the coming lecture. So for site selection, important points are there. Location criteria, like its availability. Next is the search area. Development of a list of potential site. Data collection for potential site. And field visit for local verification and identification of potential site. And then selection of best rank site. Preliminary environmental investigation, final site selection. So for the site, selecting a place as a landfill, these are the important criteria that should be followed. First is the location criteria. Like the location criteria, like it should be away from the airport. No local water bodies will be there nearby to the area. Then either search area, means it should be nearby to the point of generation of the waste. Then the development of the list of potential site, and after these two criteria, we'll develop a list of the sites which can be used for the landfill sites. And after selecting the site's name, then the data collection of that particular potential sites. Field visit for the local verification and identification of potential site. Selection of best rank site. Then in preliminary environment impact investigation, means preliminary its environment impact investigation has been carried out. Then after these many of steps, we'll go for the final site selection of the landfill. Then finally, we'll select the site for the landfill. So these are the important criteria that should be keep in mind before selecting a site as a landfill. So this is the references of some of the textbook that you can use for your study if you want to do depth study of these subjects, these topics. So at this point, I want to conclude my lecture. I have discussed about the landfills types and what are the different terms that is associated with the landfill and what are the different criteria that should be keep in mind while selecting any area as a landfill. So for making any site as a landfill site, so first we have to take care of the geographical condition of the particular area. What are the rainfall, what are the water condition, what are the groundwater availability, and on the basis of groundwater availability only we will be able to decide the landfill types, which type of landfill will be there. If it will be very far, then we'll provide some area method. So like that, landfill method should be also depends upon the groundwater, because after many years of landfill, inside some organic waste will be there, and that organic waste some microbial decomposition process will be started, and that because of this microbial decomposition process, methane production has been started. So this methane is going to be produced in more amounts. So the methane collection point should be there for every landfills, and some toxic plastic waste is there. Many wastes are there. So during the rainy season, what happened, when rain will be coming onto the landfill, that rain will be leached out to the groundwater. So thus many waste will be there. So when the waters enters into the toxic waste, some liquid, some toxic elements should be percolated from the solid waste. Toxic waste percolation will be there. So that toxic waste percolation, that will be very much toxic in nature, and that is going to enter the groundwater. So that percolation liquid is called as leachate. So this will lead to the formation of leachate in every landfill. So after 1 or 2 years after the rainy season, leachate will be there for every landfill, and that leachate will be very much harmful, because this leachate is the percolation liquid from the solid waste, municipal solid waste. So, and it will be having consist of many toxic element, many toxic metal will be there. So the main problem associated with the landfill is its leachate collection and the treatment of leachate, and the leachate should not enter the groundwater. If the leachate will enter the groundwater, that is going to contaminate the whole groundwater. So that the leachate collection and the treatment is a very important point. We will discuss in the coming lectures. So as for now, if you have any question, if you have any query regarding this lecture, you will write in the comment box, or you can directly mail me on my given mail ID, that is shikha.pandy@gmail.com. You can directly mail me on the given mail ID. Thank you for today's lecture.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.